The betrayal. Captain Marcus Rivera stared at the tactical display showing the destruction of Europa Station. 20,000 human colonists had lived there. Now only debris floated where homes, schools, and research labs had once stood. The Zorganian Empire had struck without warning, their plasma weapons reducing humanity's outer colonies to ash in mere hours. "Sir, we've lost contact with Titan Base," Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported from her communications station aboard the defense vessel Resolute. Her voice remained steady despite the tears streaming down her face. They all knew people on Titan. Marcus gripped the command chair's armrests. In the past 6 hours, humanity had lost 5 major colonies and 12 outposts. Over 3 million lives gone. And the Galactic Council, the supposed peacekeepers of the galaxy, had done nothing. "Incoming transmission from the council chambers," Sarah announced. The main view screen flickered to life, showing Ambassador Elena Rodriguez standing before the vast assembly of alien representatives. Her usually pristine diplomatic uniform was wrinkled, her dark hair disheveled. She had been arguing humanity's case for hours. "The Zorganian Empire has committed unprovoked genocide against peaceful human colonies," Elena's voice echoed through the Grand Chamber. "We demand immediate intervention under Article 7 of the Galactic Charter." High Chancellor Crixer, a being resembling a crystalline spider, tapped his staff against the floor. "The Council recognizes no violation. Humanity's settlements existed in disputed territory. The Zorganians merely enforced their ancient claim." Elena's face flushed with anger. "Ancient claim. Those systems were uninhabited for 10,000 years. We followed every protocol, filed every document, paid every fee. You approved our colonization rights. Circumstances change," Crixer replied dismissively. "The Council sees no reason to intervene in what is clearly an internal matter of territorial adjustment." Around the chamber, representatives from dozens of species murmured their agreement. The Valtteri delegation actually applauded the Chancellor's words. The Nexeri turned their backs on Elena entirely. Only the Thorians, humanity's sole trading partners, showed any sympathy in their expressions. Elena straightened her shoulders. "Then you leave us no choice but to defend ourselves." Chancellor Crixer's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among his species. "With what? Your species has barely achieved interstellar travel. You possess no fleet capable of challenging the Zorganians. Accept your losses and retreat to your own system. Perhaps in a few centuries, you might earn a seat at this council." The transmission ended abruptly. Marcus turned to his crew. "You all heard that. We're on our own." "Sir," came the voice of Commander James Park from the weapons station. "Long-range sensors show Zorganian battle groups approaching Earth. ETA 14 hours. Marcus felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. Earth's defenses consisted of orbital platforms and a handful of patrol ships like the Resolute. Against the Zorganian Armada, they would last minutes at best. "Contact Admiral Torres," Marcus ordered. "Tell her it's time for Plan Omega." Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility known only to Earth's highest military leaders, Admiral Maria Torres received the message. She turned to the team of scientists and engineers who had worked in secret for the past decade. "Dr. Morrison, is Project Retribution ready?" Dr. Samuel Morrison, a thin man with prematurely gray hair, nodded grimly. "We never tested it on this scale, Admiral. But theoretically, yes. The quantum resonance network is operational. Theoretically isn't good enough, Doctor." "It's all we have," Morrison replied. "When we discovered that quantum entanglement could be weaponized, we knew this day might come. Every piece of human technology sold to alien species in the last 10 years contains our resonance chips. They're in Zorganian ship cores, Valtteri communication arrays, even Nexeri medical equipment." Admiral Torres studied the activation console. One command would trigger every hidden chip simultaneously. The quantum cascade would destroy any system containing human technology, crippling the economies and militaries of species across the galaxy. "The ethical implications," began Dr. Lisa Patel, the project's lead physicist. Died with our colonies. Torres interrupted. They showed us no mercy. They deserve none in return. Warning klaxons suddenly filled the command center. On the main screen, Zorganian ships dropped out of hyperspace near Earth's moon. Not the 14 hours predicted, they had accelerated their approach. "Admiral, the lead Zorganian vessel is hailing us," reported the communications officer. The screen shifted to show Supreme Commander Zaktor, his insectoid features twisted in what humans had learned to recognize as contempt. "Humans of Earth, your expansion ends today. Surrender unconditionally, and we will allow your species to survive as servants of the Empire. Resist, and we will reduce your world to molten glass." Admiral Torres stepped forward. "Supreme Commander, we offer you the same choice. Withdraw immediately, and your empire survives. Continue this attack, and you will learn why humans became the dominant species on a world full of predators." Zaktor's antennae twitched with amusement. "Threats from prey. How entertaining. Begin the bombardment." The Zorganian ships opened fire. Earth's orbital defenses responded valiantly, but were quickly overwhelmed. The Resolute and her sister ships threw themselves against the alien armada, buying precious seconds with their lives. Captain Marcus Rivera's last transmission reached Earth. Tell them we held the line." Admiral Torres watched the tactical display as humanity's defenders fell one by one. She thought of the colonies already destroyed, of the 3 million dead, of the Council's callous dismissal of human life. She turned to Dr. Morrison. "Activate Project Retribution." Morrison's hands flew over the control panel. Quantum resonance network initializing. Cascade effect building. "Admiral, once we do this, there's no going back." Torres finished. "I know, but they left us no choice. Send the activation signal." Across the galaxy, in the hidden depths of alien technology, billions of human-made quantum chips received their final command. The resonance began, building from a whisper to a roar that would echo through the stars. The Zorganian fleet, preparing to deliver their killing blow to Earth, never saw it coming. Their mighty dreadnoughts, protected by shields that could withstand the heart of a star, began to shudder. Deep within their power cores, human components started their deadly dance. Supreme Commander Zaktor had just enough time to recognize the source of the vibration before his command ship tore itself apart from the inside. The quantum cascade ripped through metal and energy fields alike, reducing the pride of the Zorganian Empire to expanding clouds of debris. But the signal didn't stop there. It raced through quantum space, faster than light, faster than thought. On the Zorganian homeworld, every military installation, every weapons platform, every ship in their vast fleet experienced simultaneous catastrophic failure. In the council chambers, representatives watched in horror as their own technology began to fail. The Valtteri ambassador's translation device exploded. The Nexary's biological enhancement suits shut down, leaving them gasping in the oxygen-rich atmosphere. Even the Great Chamber's gravitational compensators, maintaining the comfort of 100 different species, flickered and died. High Chancellor Krixer's ceremonial staff, a symbol of his authority containing a human-made power cell, began to vibrate ominously in his grasp. He threw it aside just as it shattered into 1,000 pieces. The last transmission from Earth reached them as their own systems failed. Admiral Torres stood tall in the command center, her face hard as stone. "Members of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's judgment. "You watched as billions of humans died. You dismissed our pleas for justice. You told us we were too primitive, too weak to matter. Today, you learn the truth about humanity. We are not weak. We are not primitive. We are survivors. For millions of years, we fought our way to the top of our world's food chain. We conquered disease, tamed the atom, and reached for the stars. And when threatened, we prepared. Every piece of technology we've traded, every component we've sold, every system we've helped build contains our gift to the galaxy, a safeguard against betrayal. You thought you were using us. In truth, we were positioning ourselves for this moment. The Zorganian Empire is broken. Their fleet is destroyed, their weapons silenced. Any species that raises arms against humanity will suffer the same fate. We offer the galaxy a choice: peace and cooperation, or mutual destruction. Choose wisely. Humanity is watching. The transmission ended as alien technology across the council chamber continued to fail. In the darkness and chaos, the assembled representatives finally understood what they had unleashed. Humanity had not come to the stars as sheep among wolves. They had come as sleeping dragons, offering friendship with one hand while hiding terrible weapons with the other. And the galaxy had made the fatal mistake of waking the dragon's wrath. As Earth's surviving defenders regrouped and alien empires across the galaxy tallied their losses, one truth became crystal clear: mankind would never again be dismissed, disrespected, or destroyed without consequence. The age of human submission was over. The age of human power had begun. The Reckoning. 3 days after the quantum cascade, the Galactic Council reconvened in emergency session. The Grand Chamber, once a marvel of alien technology, now looked decidedly primitive. Gone were the holographic displays, the gravity manipulators, and the universal translators. Representatives who had relied on technology to breathe different atmospheres now wore bulky environment suits from their own ships. High Chancellor Crixer entered the chamber using mechanical legs instead of his usual hover platform. His crystalline body showed stress fractures from the sudden gravity adjustment. Around him, other representatives struggled with similar handicaps. The Valtteri ambassador, whose species communicated through bioelectric fields, now had to rely on crude sound-based speech. The Nexeri delegation, dependent on their enhancement suits, had been forced to remain on their ship. Only the Thorians, humanity's sole defenders in the Council, seemed unaffected. They had never incorporated human technology into their systems, preferring their own organic-based alternatives. The Council recognizes Ambassador Elena Rodriguez of Earth, Crixer announced, his translated words coming from a simple sound projector instead of the chamber's defunct systems. Elena entered the chamber, flanked by 2 Marines in full combat armor. Where she had once stood as a supplicant, she now walked with the bearing of a conqueror. Her diplomatic uniform had been replaced by a military dress uniform, its dark fabric adorned with ribbons representing Earth's colonies, including those destroyed by the Zorganians. Members of the Council, Elena began, her voice carrying without artificial amplification. 3 days ago, you witnessed a demonstration of human capability. Today, I am here to discuss terms. Terms. The Valtteri ambassador's vocal approximation was harsh and grating. You crippled half the galaxy. Billions of beings suffer because of your actions. Elena's eyes hardened. Billions suffer? How interesting. When 3 million humans died, this council deemed it an internal matter. When your technology fails, suddenly it's a galactic crisis. Perhaps now you understand how we felt. The Zorganian Empire is in chaos, reported the Ketheri representative. Their entire military infrastructure has collapsed. Their colonies are declaring independence. Civil war has erupted on their homeworld. A tragedy. Elena replied without a trace of sympathy. If only someone had warned them that attacking peaceful colonies might have consequences. Oh wait, we did. This council chose not to listen. Chancellor Crixer leaned forward, his damaged limbs creaking. What do you want? Humans? You've made your point. Name your demands. Elena activated a simple mechanical projector, displaying a star map. First, immediate recognition of human colonial claims in all previously disputed territories. Second, full restitution for our destroyed colonies, to be paid by the Zorganian Empire's remaining assets. Third, permanent seats on the Galactic Council for Humanity, with full voting rights. The chamber erupted in protests. Impossible, shouted the Valtteri ambassador. Humans are newcomers. You cannot demand equal status with species that have been spacefaring for millennia. Elena waited for the noise to die down. We can, and we do. But there's more. Fourth, the establishment of a new galactic defense treaty, with humanity as a founding member. Never again will the Council stand by while genocide is committed. And if we refuse? Asked the Valtheri representative, her feathered form ruffled with indignation. Elena smiled coldly. Then you continue to experience life without human technology. Let me paint you a picture of your future. The Valtheri Communication Network, which connects 40% of galactic trade, remains permanently offline. The Nexari medical systems, which serve a dozen species, never function again. The quantum navigation computers used by half your merchant fleets stay dead. She paused, letting the implications sink in. Or we could discuss the secondary systems we haven't activated yet. Did you think we only planted one type of quantum chip? We have contingencies for contingencies, Council members. The cascade you experienced was merely our first option. The lies were perfectly delivered. In truth, humanity had exhausted their quantum weapon. But the aliens didn't know that. The bluff was a masterpiece of psychological warfare. You're threatening us, Krixer observed. No, Elena corrected. We're offering you a choice. Partner with humanity as equals, or face a galaxy where human innovation is forever beyond your reach. We can be your greatest allies or your worst nightmare. The decision is yours. The Thorian ambassador stood, his bioluminescent skin pulsing with calm blue light. The Thorian Republic supports humanity's proposals. We have traded with humans for 5 years and found them honorable. Their response, while extreme, was provoked by our collective failure to uphold galactic law. One by one, other representatives began to speak. Some protested, others negotiated, but all eventually faced the same reality. Humanity now held the cards. Their quantum weapon had shifted the balance of power in ways no one had anticipated. Meanwhile, across human space, the full scope of humanity's preparation became apparent. Hidden shipyards activated, revealing vessels constructed in secret. Underground laboratories opened their doors, showing weapons and defenses decades ahead of what humanity had publicly claimed. The quantum cascade had been just one tool in mankind's arsenal. Admiral Torres stood in Earth's new strategic command center, watching feeds from across the galaxy. Status report, she ordered. Zorganian military capabilities down to 15% and falling, reported Colonel Hayes. Their empire is fragmenting. 17 colonies have declared independence and requested human protection. The Council, still debating, but the outcome is clear. They'll accept our terms. They have no choice. Torres nodded, and Project Phoenix. Dr. Morrison looked up from his console, ready to initiate on your command. If the Council accepts our terms, we can restore selected systems within days. If not, they'll learn to live without modern technology, Torres finished. How long can they last? The Valtheri. Perhaps a month before their economy completely collapses. The Nexari might survive longer, but they'll lose their position as the galaxy's premier biotech providers. Most species will face severe disruptions within weeks. Torres studied the tactical display, showing humanity's true military strength. Fleets of warships built in hidden facilities, weapons that made their public technology look primitive, and defense systems that could withstand anything the galaxy might throw at them. 20 years, she murmured. 20 years of pretending to be helpless while we prepared for this moment. Back in the Council chambers, the debate had reached its conclusion. Chancellor Krixer struck the floor with a simple metal rod, his new staff of office. The Council will vote on humanity's proposals. The vote wasn't close. Faced with economic collapse and the demonstration of human power, even humanity's harshest critics recognized reality. The proposals passed with only 3 dissenting votes. Elena stood as the results were announced. The Council has chosen wisely. Humanity accepts your partnership and commits to the shared security and prosperity of all peaceful species. When will you restore our technology? Asked the Valtheri ambassador, his pride clearly wounded. Restoration begins immediately for council members who voted in favor, Elena replied. Full functionality will return within 7 days. For those who voted against, she shrugged. Perhaps in time, when trust is rebuilt. As the session concluded, Chancellor Krixer approached Elena privately. You played us masterfully, he admitted. How long have humans been planning this? Elena met his compound eyes steadily. From the moment we discovered we weren't alone in the universe, we hoped for peace but prepared for war. Every species does the same. We were just better at hiding it. The quantum weapons. Do you have more? Elena smiled enigmatically. What do you think, Chancellor? Would a species capable of this level of planning have only one contingency? Krixer's antennae drooped in acknowledgement. Welcome to the Galactic Council, Ambassador. I suspect the galaxy will never be the same. Within days, human engineers began the careful process of restoring alien technology. The quantum resonance weapons were supposedly decommissioned, though no aliens were allowed to verify this. Human colonies were rebuilt with resources from the fragmenting Zorganian Empire. Earth took its place among the galaxy's powers not through gradual acceptance, but through demonstrated strength. The Zorganians, their empire shattered, faced justice for their genocidal attacks. War crime tribunals, established under the new Galactic Defense Treaty, held their leaders accountable. Never again would the Council ignore such atrocities. But perhaps the most significant change was psychological. Species that had dismissed humans as primitive newcomers now regarded them with a mixture of respect and wariness. The sleeping dragon had awakened, and the galaxy had learned a fundamental truth about humanity. They could be the most faithful allies or the most terrifying enemies. They offered friendship freely, but answered betrayal with calculation precision. They came to the stars with open hands and hidden weapons, hoping for peace but ready for war. As human ships began patrolling the spaceways and human colonies spread across the stars, other species remembered the lesson of the Zorganians. Some called it justice, others called it revenge. But all agreed on one point. Humanity had changed the galaxy forever, and the age of human expansion had truly begun. The stars themselves seemed to burn brighter, as if reflecting the fire that burned in human hearts, the fire of a species that would never again allow their children to die, while others watched in indifference. Earth's devastating revenge had indeed left the Galactic Council speechless, but more importantly, it had secured humanity's future among the stars. In the end, the galaxy learned what Earth's creatures had known for millions of years. Humanity was not to be underestimated. They were not prey to be hunted or primitives to be dismissed. They were survivors, innovators, and when necessary, warriors whose wrath could shake the very foundations of interstellar civilization. The Council had been warned. The galaxy had been changed. And humanity had finally come home to the stars, not as subjects or suppliants, but as powers in their own right. The endless frontier awaited, and mankind would face it as they always had, together, prepared, and unconquerable.